Are we approaching the end of civilization as we know it? Do we want to be victims or champions? Do I care? Should I care? These are some of many questions I ask myself on a daily basis, almost. My name is Steve, and welcome to this channel, Awake with Steve, where I talk about the things that keep me awake at night, the things that could wake me up in the middle of the night, the dragons under the bed, if you will. That can be current events, ideas, philosophies, observations, etc. Initially on this channel, I'll be talking a lot about current events probably, because there's a lot going on. And I'm not talking about politics, although that will come up in one or two discussions. I'm going to try and be as apolitical as possible here. So I'm going to do 4 episodes initially, describing who I am, what I see as the issues, train wrecks, if you will, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next episode. The elephant in the room, because as much as we're dancing around with all these other problems, there's a bigger problem. And finally, get to some lighter topics maybe, and that is, what are we doing, if we're doing anything, to alleviate some of these problems? So with that, let's start on this chapter where I am introducing me. Okay, who I am, what's my background, my interests, why I think they're relevant to this discussion, and then we'll go on from there. So, background. Clearly, 68-year-old white guy. Okay, so I've seen a few things. I have a little bit more perspective on history than some people would have, younger people. I have 2 daughters, so that would answer the last question there. Yes, I am concerned about the future. Originally, I was a lot more concerned about their future, but as I look at more and more of the issues, their future is blending right in with mine, because I rather expect to live a fair number of years beyond today. So, more background. My original training is in the sciences, degree in physics, minors in computer science and mathematics. I spent most of my life working in various industries with technology, applying technology to various aspects of those industries, everywhere from weathering and aging laboratories to just general networking and even some software development. So that's kind of where that comes from. Interests. I have been interested in everything for a very long time. I'm a voracious reader. I've been reading since I was taught to read. I've been reading books like crazy. In junior high school and high school, I worked my way through the school libraries, anything on history, any of the sciences, hard scientists, more than not, but sociology and psychology and economics kind of were part of it too. A lot of science fiction. And I've continued to read until recently. I've gotten more into the internet. Once that became available, it's like, whoa, all kinds of information out of this. I loved it. And now I'm backing off and starting to do more reading. The problem with the internet is you get these little blurbs and you have no idea where they came from, and a lot of times you don't even have an idea of what's the reasoning behind why these things came up. Whereas a book can go far more in depth, more often than not, as to the discussion about these ideas. So, why do I think that's relevant? Maybe it's not. I just have a very, very broad array of interests, and in my experience working with many different types of people and in talking with Others, I tend to see things from a much vaster perspective than most people. And that's not always a good thing. The day-to-day life things I tend to forget about, or not pay as much attention as I should, as others are paying to it. So there's that issue. As I've been studying these different aspects of what's going on in the world, what the history of the world and the universe is like, I've been getting more and more depressed, primarily around current events. I'm seeing patterns in current events that have been repeated throughout history. And that would seem to hint at us heading into some more troubling times. And I'm getting depressed about that. And part of the depression is just the overwhelming nature of all of the problems. It seems like everything's going crazy all at once. And it can overwhelm me at times. Initially trying to deal with that depression, I would just tune it out, focus on day-to-day events. Don't worry about what's going on in the world. That didn't work very well. It's kind of like a train wreck, and I'm kind of, you can see it happening. You can see it's going to happen. Everything's coming together, and it's going to be a nasty pile up. And I just can't turn away. It's like, I got to watch it develop and see how it goes. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a primate. Maybe because I'm just curious about things and I want to see what happens. But I can't turn away. So I'm starting this channel in the hopes of breaking it into different parts and looking at the different parts, hoping that focusing on them will pull me back into and away from the overwhelming nature of all of the problems. Then, as I focus on the individual parts, I'd like to see what we're doing about it. One of the insights that I had just recently is we've got all of these problems and they're all terrible and it's depressing and it's black and it's all going to crap in a handbasket. And I pulled back and it's like, but what about technology? Yeah, it's part of the problem, but it's a huge part of the solution. We have the potential to solve a lot of these problems. We have the understanding, we have tools, models, equipment, and the know-how to develop more stuff, more understanding. We're probably more capable of managing these issues than at any time in history. And I need to bring that back to the forefront. And also, there's just a little niggling of ego in there. Well, probably more than a niggling, but because I'm on the periphery of what's going on in the world, I might see some things or come to a conclusion that somebody might be able to use to arrive at a different perspective on what's happening and different solutions. Don't know. So we'll see where that goes. So the next 3 episodes are going to be, the first one will be what I call my train wrecks. That's a breakdown of the different issues, different sets of issues, I guess, problems that I see. Those are the things that I just am watching and going, oh my God, this is going to blow up at some point. The 3rd episode will be about the big issue, the elephant in the room, the dragon under the bed, if you will. Yes, I do mix my metaphors quite egregiously at times. So, and then the 4th one will be, what are we doing if we're doing anything? Kind of a beginning or an entry point into that discussion or into the multiple discussions that can come out of that. So, thank you much for bearing with me and look forward to the next one. See you then. Bye.